Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's get started with our first interview this morning. Got a bunch of them to come at you. A key element of successful business strategy is originality. We're going to find out about a creative strategy generation using passion and creativity to compose business strategies that inspire action and growth. Hardcover available in a bookstore near you.
All right.
Doesn't that sound like Joe Dan's show?
A little bit.
Creativity. Yeah, well, in any case,
yeah, but he's good.
Bob, I'll let you repronounce your name once again. Bob, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Bob Caporale.
Caporale. All right, Bob. So tell us about your new book.
So the book is about, first and foremost, it's a book that's to help companies and people in companies develop annual strategic plans. And so it's really a step-by-step guide on how to develop a strategy. But the twist to it is that I've tried to bring in the creative element, saying, hey, if you want to develop a strategy in your company, one way to do it is to approach it the same way you do composing music, or approach it like any other artistic endeavor. And in that way, you're going to come out with more creative strategies and a more creative output.
And where'd you come up with this idea?
Well, I've been in business for 20 years, developing strategies, and I've always approached it the same way that I approach my art, and one of the things that I do is I'm a musician and a composer. So really trying to bring those two worlds together in a way that could be fun for people and make strategy a little bit more of an interesting subject is how I came up with it.
And, a lot of the times it's been said that musicians and mathematicians go together. So were you good in math?
I actually was good at math.
Yeah, that has really been a common thread that I've seen. There are engineers that are just brilliant musically and vice versa. So I've seen it many times.
Yeah, what's interesting about it is that my degree is in engineering.
Yeah, there
and
we go.
I pretty quickly kind of migrated towards towards marketing in my business career, because I always tried to combine the creative side and that engineering side. And in business, sometimes people always, kind of brand you as an engineer and say you can't be creative, but I think that's completely untrue. So
well, Frank proves that.
Well, but in business strategy these days, and I guess this would go for any type of a size of business, right? I mean, it could be a big business, but a lot of these small mom and pops that are around, which are the backbone of the country, really need a good strategy to make themselves profitable.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, the book was really written kind of from the standpoint of a corporate person, someone in a big corporation. That's my background, and those are the types of people that I tend to help more in the business that I do now, which is training and consulting. But actually the book has found quite an audience with, like you say, smaller, startup companies, that type of thing, that maybe doesn't have all the resources to develop a strategy from scratch, and the book is really helping that type of an audience as well.
Now, are you getting feedback from the companies, let's say after a year or so of them instituting your techniques, and what has that been?
Yeah, so I've been teaching this technique for quite some time, both in my corporate world, and then I've been doing training and consulting for about 3 years. So the book was written from the standpoint of the trainings that I do and that type of thing. So I've actually watched this technique be successful in many, many companies, mostly at the product line and portfolio level. And the feedback that I get is, a lot of strategy books out there, there's tons of them, by the way, and they tend to handle the subject from a corporate level, saying, kind of what do the big companies do at a big corporate executive level. But there's actually thousands of people that are responsible for product line and portfolio strategies in companies. There's not a lot of books out there written at that level and really handling strategy from that direction. So that's what people really tend to appreciate from it.
How often should somebody redo a strategy? I mean, is it a one-time deal, or should we look at it periodically?
Well, this is one of the things that I talk about in the book a lot. In companies, especially big companies, they tend to do an annual strategic planning process. And so every year they kind of restart again, right? They have to get, their product line managers and marketing managers in front of the executives, and they ask them to basically create a presentation. And really that's not exactly the right way to approach strategy, because strategy should be very dynamic. You should have a goal in mind. You should know how you want to achieve that goal. And you're reacting to the variables all the time that are changing. And so the way that I tend to want people to approach strategy is, put together your plan and communicate it, but be dynamic throughout the year. Continue to revisit it as variables change, which may be once a year, maybe once a month, and maybe more frequent than that.
And is that what you're doing now permanently now, is just doing consulting and seminars?
I am, yeah. So I left kind of the corporate world about 3 years ago, and I'm with a company now called secret learning networks outside of out of New York City. And I do that full time. We train public classes and corporate classes and work with companies large and small full time.
Are you from New York City?
I am, yeah. I'm actually
Really?
from, I grew up on Long Island, but yeah, I'm from the area.
Where in the island did you grow up?
I grew up a combination, Bayshore and then Kings Park are my two hometowns.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Very good stuff.
It
Well,
doesn't sound like a New Yorker, though.
I moved away for a while. And then,
cleared up the accent.
yeah, I lost a little bit of it, I think.
Good stuff. Well, creative strategy generation. We can get a copy of your book locally at Ye Old Warwick Bookshop. They'll get it for you either in Warwick or Greenwood Lake. And, of course, online. Are there any websites associated with your work?
Yeah, so the easiest one to get to is the website of the book. It's called composingstrategy.com. And so from there you can get to my website, hear samples of my music, and then get information about the book as well.
All right, sounds great. Well, Bob, thanks for coming on the air with us. Best of luck with the book, and
Very
let's make some money together. It sounds great.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
Have a great
anytime.
day.
There you go. It is WTBQ. First one down. It's a Monday morning. It's WTBQ and traffic.